All right, so she sent her son up and just straight up removed it, so that was super easy. I'll probably end up doing it at my house because my toilet's not working and the plumber's not coming, so whatever. So ta-da, full access. You do want to cover that hole just so you don't lose stuff down there. I'm gonna clean it out and start measuring the sheetrock, and I'm gonna start on the bottom because these things are heavy, and then work up. But also the bottom has the most cuts, so I get to figure that one out too, because they need to clear all the covers. So this one I'll probably just cut down and add the piece at the bottom, but these, unless I want to cut a piece like this and then cut a piece like it's all good. It'll be covered later today. And just make sure we label where all the wires are in the wire, because you don't want to drill a screw through there. I know some people put plates up. I had to do that in my bathroom when I did that. Put a plate up over where the wires are, so if you go to screw it, you hit the plate and it won't go anywhere. So you just move the screw and you're good to go. Saves on electrical fires. They're really not expensive either, so might be worth it if you're doing it yourself. So anywho, here we go. So cutting sheetrock to size is pretty simple. You measure, make a mark, make sure it's square, and straight, and then you just use a straight blade, score it, knock it, score the other side. It's good. I went a little long because you can always cut it down. So I'm gonna measure these pieces out. I should be able to get away with only doing 2 pieces of sheetrock. And I want to do the one on the bottom because they are pretty heavy. And the idea of holding it up by myself up to the ceiling is not very enticing. So if you do the bottom one first, you can lean the second one on top of that. And so it helps. All right, so we're going to take some measurements. Success. So I did have to cut all the way out. I couldn't get it in and around here, so I'll just put a little bit of leftover piece, cover that up, secure it with mesh tape. Like I said, these holes are slightly bigger than these. I'll do the same thing. I'll put a little bit of mesh and some compound, my brain again. It's going to be hidden by the vanity, so that's not such a big deal. And the compound will cover everything out. So it's in, and I should say I left it a little long because I wasn't sure how far in it was going to suck into the wall, and I didn't want a huge gap, so I did have to trim that up. So and what you can see here, decent gap here, but oh my gosh, there. We'll see about this one. This one is the high one. So these two are pretty secure. But if I'm just secure that to anything, I get shims. Sheathing? I think they call it sheathing. So, and I'll have to do it over here as well because that's a pretty big gap. And then mark out here on the next one. What I'll actually do is I'll just grab my level line, put lines where the studs are, so when I come around I can just go and I don't have to go but I will actually X out right here because that's where this comes through, so they know where that is. Clean this little bit. This is the little bit that came off. Put a little bit of sheetrock in there, but it already looks better. This is mold resistant. This is great for bathrooms. So if you get a chance, get the green board. But yeah, that's so funny. I don't get it. All right, you work with what you got and then you move forward. So I'm gonna grab those out of my car. I got the screws. And we're moving along. Probably get a drink too, because, you know, sweating to the working. Dusty McGee. So I started doing some shims. I think it's going to take some finagling. So I'm going to start in the bottom because the bottom's pretty secure. And then work my way up so that when I pull this in, there's no crazy big highs or lows. And so I'm just going to adjust it as I go. Okie dokies. Maybe one of these days I'll get like a little tripod-y something or other, instead of just hoping it stays. Drywall screws. I've already labeled the studs. Ugh. Oh, things are shifting. Yeah, make sure nothing's sticking out. Alright, so the bottom looks pretty good. So, 2, 3. Alright, so we're just gonna keep going, working our way up. Adjusting as we go. It's a green wall. So, old house, nothing's completely square. So I will just fill in those gaps. And I need to secure it and then make sure everything is level this way and this way, so there's no crazy big bumps. So this is good, so work on getting this good. Little things I can fill in with the compound, but nothing huge. Alright, little screw. And I will be switching in the afternoon to compound. And it'll start looking really, really nice. Really nice. Really nice. Okay, so I've got the bottom, top done. I checked to make sure they were pretty level this way and this way, so there's no crazy high spots, low spots. Whatever little is left will be covered with compound. Little. Nothing this big. That's crazy. This is small. So, you get your lovely little mesh tape. Goes right over the seams. And it's sticky. Score it. So you want to get all the seams, the corners. You don't need to worry about screw holes because compound will cover that, but you do want to get all the seams. Compounding is a multi-step process. So the first layer is more just you get it on there, you let it dry, you come back, you kind of get more on there. It's usually about 3 coats. If it's really bad, it'd be more. I put rosin down on the ground. So that I don't get stuff on the floor, because when you start slinging mud, sometimes you really sling the mud. So that's where I'm at, getting it done. Looks pretty good. Hopefully everyone's happy. And we're nearing the end of it, so get all this up, and then I will mix master the compound. All right, I've got water in here. Ugh. You want a clean bucket. I forgot a clean bucket. I have a clean-ish bucket. And then you add the compound, mix it up, and then we start throwing it on the wall. This is usually where it's like trial and error for me. It's like pancake mix without the directions. You want a nice thick consistency, nice and smooth. You don't want it running off your trowel, and you don't want it so hard you can't spread it. So we'll see what we can do. Mix master. Here we go. And the process just goes on and on. So it's always good to have 2 blades. That way you can kind of bring it all right to the edge where you need it. You don't want a big glob. You do want it kind of smooth, but you want to leave some on so it actually covers the holes. And first coat doesn't have to be perfect, because you're going to be adding quite a few. Just, again, nothing glaring. Hopefully that's covered. It should be covered by the stuff. And you get baseboard in there as well, so you want to use it up before it dries. You want to make sure you have joint compound, not the green lid stuff. This stuff's easy sand, which is great because it tends to be heavier and just drops instead of flying everywhere. So sanding is a huge mess. This is the easy stuff. And that, my friends, is step 1. So we've got all the seams with a joint setting compound. All the holes have 1. So what happens when it dries, it does kind of shrink up a little bit, which is why you need to do more than 1 coat. You'll see it's not perfect. So this is where I started, came back around, it kind of dried up and caught up. Don't worry about it. You come back, doing a couple more. It doesn't need to be perfect. Got some lines and stuff. I'll just shave down before I add the next coat. Made a little bit too much, but it's better than not enough. Consistency was perfect. So yeah, good times. Clean up and I'm done for today. So this is like a 45-minute recoat. I don't know that I want to come back today, so I might just plan to come here for the next couple days for, I mean, it's not even gonna be an hour to finish just throwing a coat on. The final sand before the paint takes more, because you want to make sure there's as schmooze as possible. So alrighty, later. All right, I'm back at my friend's. Oh, the back of my van is half passenger, half work. You know, These Vans are awesome. The whole stow and go, it's great. Change on the fly. Realized I didn't show you guys what the sheathing is, or the lathe. So it's 4 feet long, 3 feet long, 4 feet long, 5/16 by 1.5. It's aspen lathe, so it's just, I lined it up with the studs, and that's what fixed the wall. So I just shaved down the high spots, and I'm about to put a second coat on the wall. So it's pretty much the same thing I did yesterday, just it's going to be a little bit wider. So that way you don't end up with a big hump, because I've seen people just literally cover this spot and then cover it again and then cover it again. You got to feather it out. So one is here, the next one's wider, and the next one's going to be wider. That way it's not a big boop. It's nice and schmoosh. I worked really hard to make it smooth. You want to keep it smooth. It's a beautiful fall day. I mean, it's like faux second summer or something right now. I love it. And I feel good today. Headache's gone, so that's good. Kids are crazy, but I'm not worried about them right now. There's lots of kids here. It's Saturday, so all right. Shouldn't take me too long today, because it's no taping, just mud, just extra mud on. So I have a little shower. So their tub shower combo is just slightly different than mine, and someone took a shower and didn't switch it to tub. So when I turned the water on, it got everywhere, which is awesome. I'm awake now. And I forgot my drip bits. You know, this is how it is. Mom brain. It's always extra trips, right? So, all right. Oh, laugh. I like laughing. Feel good today. It's a good day. It's going to be a good day. All right, I'm at the part of the job I absolutely hate. This is the sanding part. It's just a hot mess. I close the door behind me, and what happens is just the fine dust, and it goes everywhere. I protect my hair, because once you start sweating and the compound dust get in your hair, it starts to like reactivate. And you get a lot of crunchy hairs. So kind of like I did before. Taking off the really high spots, and then I come around with my sanding sponge. And then what I like to do, and I can do, is just hold the light up to the side. Because this, everything looks good, but if you hold it up to the side, you'll see some high bumps, some low bumps. It's not coming up in the video, but that way you know it's nice and schmooze. And then after this, I get to prime. We're getting there. But I mean, I am rocking my nasty clothes look, because every time I say to myself, I'm just painting one wall, paint all over my clothes. So I have a set of clothes I am okay getting paint on. They're not very flattering, but that's okay. I realized in the last video I accidentally hit slow-mo as opposed to the time lapse for the mudding. So I'll just cut that down, because y'all don't need to see mudding in slow-mo. Make sure when you start sanding, you get some ventilation, because the stuff's going to get in your eyes and it's not great to breathe. We had masks that I would wear when I was working. I forgot to grab mine, so. Oh boy. Dusty mess. And that's the wall sanded. Doesn't taste good. It's a mess. I'm sweaty. The ground. So the good stuff about this easy sand is it does drop. The other stuff just goes poof, and you would have seen me in a cloud of smoke. So what I need to do is wipe the dust off the walls and clean up the floor and prime. Kids are screaming at me like, Mom, 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 go away, play with your friends. Go away. It's dark out. You know, winter. All right, here we go. All right, so kid took the phone. Lost my credit card and license. I gotta go find that in the house. So no action shots of the primer. Ooh. Thing is with primer, paint, anything, the drops will find the one spot where you don't have a drop cloth, so just keep a rag on. Smells, so keep window open. And that's it. Next time we're putting up some blanket. Oh yeah, I needed to look at the tubes of something, blah, 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 premium construction adhesive. Hoorah. Let's see. I always read the directions because everything is just a little bit different. Shelf life, application range, cure time, cleanup, mineral spirits. You do not want to get this on you. So I might wear gloves. One tube. One tube.
Mommy.
2, 3. I don't know about this one.
This one.
Landscape construction adhesive.
Come on.
All right, should be good.
Huh?
Ah!
Shut the arm.
Hey, where are my cards?
No, in here.
They're not in there. Nope, don't play with that. We don't want water everywhere.
Why?
Why?